All right, what's shaking besties? Welcome to my new series called Diary of a Dom. Okay, so what's this about? I am just wanting to document I did a BDSM workshop, my first BDSM workshop in LA this past week, and I had a great time, and it was really a good workshop, and then we had a great group of guys, and it just sparked all these like new pathways of thought and like the questions that I got, because I was speaking to these people, these men who were in the workshop from two different perspectives. One was from the perspective of like me as a professional dom, and professional dom relating to or speaking to me as like people pay me for these services, versus a recreational or a lifestyle dom, which is just like me in my personal life having subs come to me. And there's a difference between the two, and I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun to like. I'm leaning more into and exploring more like my style and flavor profile, so to speak, as a dom is coming more to life in the recreational or lifestyle version of me as a dom. So in the workshop, I was talking about my style or my viewpoint around BDSM is like it's a meal that you share with a partner. It's an erotic meal that you share with a partner. And in order to share this meal, you've got to have like flavor profiles that overlap between the dom and the sub. And in order to like know if the flavor profiles overlap, on top of like diving in and playing and cooking and sharing a meal with somebody, it's helpful to understand what your flavor profile as a dom is. And so this is really, I think, going to be really inspirational towards like me helping other people step into their power as a dom and start kind of like getting creative and understanding like who are they as a dom and what is their flavor profile. Because in the workshop, like we all got together and we started like bringing scenes to life, and it was like the first time for most of the guys there like really stepping into like a dom sub kind of scene. And they were short, they were like 10-15 minutes max, but even so, like it was kind of like, put on the spot, right? Like, be a dom, right? Ready, set, go. And so it was really fun and engaging and powerful. And I'm realizing as I'm filming this video that hopefully this series might shed light on, what else can come alive and what can come to fruition, and like how can we start discovering what our flavor profiles are as a dom as I continue to do that for myself as a lifestyle dom, because it's separate, and maybe I'll talk about that in a different video, but I kind of want to get straight into story time here. But as a lifestyle dom, this is something that I'm stepping more into, and I want to just quickly touch on the few subs that I've had so far, and I really think there's just been one. There's just been one, and I just cut him loose today. I just cut him loose today. I was like, this isn't working. This isn't working. I'm sorry. I have to go, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so if you're not on Recon, Recon is an app that is like Grindr, but for like kinky BDSM stuff, and it's super low tech, so it's like clunky and like whatever, but like it works. And it's a wonderful place to like, that's where the kinksters and the dom sub people are. And so if you want to start exploring yourself as a dom, like there are like a plethora of subs. Just like Grindr is a sea of bottoms, Recon is a sea of subs. So if you want to go on there and make a profile, you can start like poking around in this world. And that's what I did. That's what I did. Originally, I was using this platform to kind of advertise and market my services, and then that just felt a little like bait and switchy, so I kind of like took that away. And as I've gotten settled here in Denver, I'm really opening up to having more space to explore this as like a recreational kind of thing. So the first boy that came to see me, the first sub that came in to see me, we'll call him Jeffrey. And Jeffrey, like things that I really liked about him, he was eager. He had this eagerness. He was like, yes, sir, like whatever you say. And he was just like sparky and had this like eagerness to connect. It was like this energy of like sparkiness and eagerness that I really appreciated, because I'm also like lazy. Like I'm lazy. I don't want to do the work. I want the work to be on them. I want you to like knock on my door and spark my attention and like bring me to not and show up to me. Keep showing up to me and show that you're excited. And what this is getting to is more of this theme of devotion that I am really seeking from a sub. And so Jeffrey was really eager, he was really sparky, And we finally made the time for him to come in and see me. And he has like a big boy job, right? He has like a proper like day job that is, you know, very demanding and like very like, you know, it's just a demanding job, variable schedules, and it's not something that he can just like call off on kind of thing. And so there was a couple like hiccups with him getting in for the first time, and you know, like I'm just kind of like figuring this out as I go, where I'm like, okay, cool, I'll cut you some slack, I'll cut you some slack, I'll cut you some slack. Eventually he made it in, and this was one thing that kind of came up in the workshop, where like the intake process that I have for clients is much longer and much more like spelled out and explicit than the process that I went with this like lifestyle sub or recreational sub. And I am kind of like torn about like how should I present as the like the right way to do it. And I'm not going to say that there's a right way. I'm just going to say I do it two different ways, and like pick your poison, right? Do what works, because there's value all around, and I really see it as like a case by case thing. And like conversations, like more conversations can help shape the structure and time together, and it can be fun to just play in the fucking energy, and take personal responsibility for each other's, like for your own agency within the dynamic, and like that kind of thing. That's a lie. I've had two subs. I'll tell you about the other one. There's another one that came to mind. Okay. So Jeffrey, minimal conversation on recon. We had a little bit of text back and forth. I do like dressing them up. I do think it's fun to like pick out their outfits and like have them send pictures to me. And he was doing that. He was like taking pictures in the mirror, and like I really like underwear. Like I like seeing them in their different underwear, and like I've always liked underwear. I used to like steal underwear from the store and like put it on in the changing rooms, and like get super turned on by like the secrecy of like putting on underwear, and like getting hard at the store as like a teenager, and then like stealing it. I don't do that anymore, but like still underwear I'm super into. And so like having the subs like put on underwear and trying the outfit and kind of like deciding like what they're gonna wear for me when they come is definitely something that is fun for me. And like the energy and like the sparkiness that he had of just like, yes sir, let me like show you this. He was like really engaged, and that level of like engagement was really fun for me. And so I can't even tell you like the conversations that we had, but he came in and he was like calling me sir out of the gate. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see a lot like on Instagram and like different places where like you like sit down outside of the dynamic and you have conversations first. And like did a little bit of that with sub number 2, who I'll get to in a second, but kind of retroactively. So I'm still kind of like playing around with all of this. I am, now that I'm back in Denver, going to be chatting with a third sub who did reach out to me on Instagram, and he wants to meet in a neutral playing field and have a conversation ahead of time. And I'm like, cool, like I'm happy to oblige. That sounds great. It sounds like that really works for you, and you've got some experience here. So like let's do that. So there's gonna be like more content here soon, which will be super excited to talk about. But in the meantime, let me keep filling you in. So we had some conversations. I had him take some pictures, and then he came. He told me, I asked him like, what have you done in the past? Like, what have you done in the past? And he really likes domestic service. So all kinds of service are really good for him, whether it's sexual or domestics. And domestic being like chores and shit. And so he told me that he have had like a married couple kind of thing where he would show up, they'd have a list of chores for him and he would do them. Sometimes like they would completely ignore him, sometimes they would give him more chores, and he was just like really fulfilled by this action of like doing it for them, and like getting out of like, you know, his high demand job and just being in this space of service. And then he said sometimes it was sexual. And so I was like, cool, let's plan a time for you to come here. And then he came over and he was like, what can I expect? And I'm like, we're just gonna start with chores. And so he came, and again, we were just like in the dynamic from the start. So texting me, he's like, yes sir, and I'm like, we're just using that language. And then he arrives, and he was so nervous. He was so, and like rightfully so, but like he was just like a little jarred. And it was this thing where like, he showed up, I'm like bringing him in, there's like a lobby of my apartment complex, bringing him up the elevators, bringing him through the atrium kind of thing. And he's like, hey, how are you? And there was this like anxious like talking as like person to person, and yet we're in this dynamic and we're kind of breaking out of it because of the nerves. And then we walk forward and I'm just like, eyes down. And I was nervous too, don't get me wrong. Like I was nervous too because it's like there is this element of like shifting into the dom, and like it's one thing to be texting about it, but to be in person and to really like shift energy into that power dynamic and take control, there's this energetic uptick of like, all right, I'm up here now, and that's the energy that I'm maintaining. And you'll see, because it was a different energy with sub number 2, but I was like, eyes down, follow me. We go to the elevator, and he looked at eyes down, and that was just like a cue, like keep your eyes fucking down. Then I brought him into the apartment, and I don't know, I had him clean the bathroom, the floors, the sink, showed him where the things were, and I watched a movie while he did that on the couch. And I'll have to say, this was the first time that I've done something like this, and well, that's, yes, it's the first time purely recreationally that I've done something like this. And I will say it was a challenge for me. It was a challenge for me to receive that. It was a challenge for me to lay on the couch, mind my own fucking business, and let him serve me. I had no issue about like trust, or is he gonna like take something like that. It was like a non-issue for me. But for me to lay on the couch, do my own thing, and let him serve me was something that was very high sensation for me. And it was like my people pleaser recovering like people pleaser self was like wanting to like check in and like step in and do something. And one of the things that I would have him do is like, I'm laying on the couch, kneel when you need my attention. If you finish a chore, if you have a question for me, you'll kneel and you'll wait for me to come back and give you the next instruction. And it was great. It was great. We also talked about like, I think we talked about a little bit of pain things. I really enjoy inflicting pain. I'm a total sadist. I love inflicting pain. And my style as like a sadistic dom is like a loving sadistic dom, where it's like praise you for the pain that I inflict on you. Like, you're such a good boy. You're doing such a good job. And like that kind of like delicious praise for me like biting and like feasting and sucking on your flesh and inflicting pain and like leaving marks on your body. And so that's what we did. And he parked outside. It's like 2-hour street parking. He finishes most of the chores. He gets a little sweaty. He comes, he sits by me. I also like grabbing hair and like manhandling and manipulating kind of thing. And he had like really great hair to hold on to. But from like doing chores and stuff, he got sweaty, and I touched him. I'm like go outside, cool down. Like I don't like that. I don't want to be touching your sweatiness. And for a second, like I almost did it, and I almost like felt bad because like, what if that's shaming him, or like, you know what I'm saying? But like, no, go fucking cool off. I don't want your sweat. And then it was great. It was great. And the next day he texted me, like he was like, that was so great. Can I come back tomorrow? Like, oh my God, like is it too soon to come back? Like the marks on my body, I want more of them. I love seeing them in the mirror. And so it was really good. And then he came back another time, and it was more of that kind of dynamic, plus some sexual service where I had him just like stroke me and edge me and please me sexually in that regard. And like the energy when he's here was perfect. It was so delicious and it was so good. And he came to me asking like if we could get into some hypnosis stuff. And hypnosis is nothing that I've like done before, and it requires some education. I'm like, yeah, but like give me the resources. Go find books for me. Like if you want me to bring something to you, yeah, I'm interested in that, but you can provide me those resources. Like clear the path and make it easy for me to bring that to you, because I'm not going to go out of my way to bring you something that you're requesting, even if I do have interest in it. You know what I'm saying? And so he bought a book, and then there was just like, it was just like time after time, it was like, oh fuck, I got called into work, or oh shit, I overslept, or like he was supposed to be here, and then oh fuck, my car got broken into, or oh fuck. And it was like all these things where it's like, I can't argue with that, right? Like shit happens and like plans like with a friend, like fuck those things would be like in the way of like hanging out with somebody. But over time, what shifted for me is like this new concept of like devotion and service to my temple. So it was like the course of like 4 or 5 months, he was here 2 or 3 times with like several other like random like attempts to come and then fall like it falling through. And what's not possible is like a deepening. Like there's no like steady undercurrent of energy there. It's just like scattered and it's like this pick up and put down kind of thing. And like I have come to realize through this experience, it was such like a valuable learning experience for me that I'm looking for something more consistent, like baseline at least twice a month, every other week at least. I want you here. Because the other thing is like, if someone's gonna be cleaning my apartment, I get used to my apartment being cleaned and then it goes away. And then I gotta get back into the routine of doing it myself. And like that's just doesn't work for me. That just doesn't fucking work for me. And so at least twice a month. And so the other part of this is like a deeper energy of devotion that I'm looking for. This energy of like, no, it is a privilege to serve me. It is a privilege to serve me, and therefore I'm going to prioritize it. Not just like a fun, haha, this is a game, yes sir, haha, this is fun, but no, like, wow, he is somebody that I want to prioritize. He is somebody worth prioritizing, and I, as the sub, should be. Like, it's more of like an inherent, and this gets into like the archetypes. So I am playing around with these 3 archetypes of the pup, the slave, and the boy. And these are 3 things that I just kind of brought my awareness to. But like the pup is more like playful, and the boy is more, I don't know all of this yet. I'm not gonna pretend to know it all yet. But the boy is more like father-son, right? Boy, father figure kind of thing. Like I wanna be a good boy, I wanna be praised. The pup is more just like playful and like silly and not necessarily silly, but like it's not serious. It's like playful. And then the slave is like this deeper archetype of like it's a soul fucking like level contract that there are like masters here that I'm supposed to serve. There are people that like I'm supposed to be serving. And so the like what I'm coming to find is like while the like boyish and like the pup play kind of stuff that sub number 1, what did I call him, Jeffrey, had, like while I enjoy that and that energy is like really fun to play with and that's like a big thing that's like totally valid for me, the missing piece underneath that wasn't there was which I would assume is like bleeding more into like the slave archetype, where it's like, no, I can really fucking like that like deep undercurrent of like yearning for it and just fucking like needing to serve. Because as I said this a couple more times, but like I'm still finding words for it. Like as I step into my power and what I'm building for myself in this life and my role as a healer and like the spiritual conduit that I am, like it's big. It's fucking big. And I'm stepping into like there should be people here tending to this temple.